Hi, it's Ellie, and I interviewed my father. And what I learned through this interview was that throughout my father's life, he's had a lot of emotion, and he hasn't really had anyone to confide in other than his mother. And he expressed to me, and I knew that my grandmother was a very cold, not very warm person, not very comforting. And his immediate emotion upon the questions showed me how powerful and healing this interview was for him. For me to have him be the person that I wanted to know more deeply and to ask these questions to, I think was very powerful for him. And without knowing it, towards the end of our conversation, he described the platinum rule. He expressed this to me by saying that her actions in life and good nature towards others were very inspiring to him. However, earlier in the interview, when describing his relationship with his estranged sister, he alluded that you must apply the platinum rule with your own happiness in mind, because it did get to the point where he was showing her the treatment that she wanted, and it wasn't being reciprocated, and that was damaging to him and his relationship with her. And essentially, sometimes you can kill someone with kindness. You just need to turn a blind eye. The most important life lesson that I'd like to share is to be true to your morals and values, and you'll live a fulfilled life. Because as my dad expressed in the interview, there's a lot of things about himself that he wishes that he could do better or meet the expectations of those around him. But at the end of the day, if you are content with who you are and the person you are at your core, then your life will be fulfilled. You can't rely on these outside expectations to be fulfillment for you. In the clip that I'm about to play, it seemed kind of odd parts of it, but basically the most confusing part is where he says, "You're right, I shouldn't have gone into Qdoba." And that's because there was a storm, so the power was out, so he was at Qdoba's parking lot to use their Wi-Fi for the interview, and he was going to go inside, and I said not to because I knew it was going to be emotional. And that was basically him saying, "I'm happy I didn't go in." And then I said, "I told you." What was your relationship like with Gogo?
Um, it was good. It was good, but challenging. He had high expectations for me in a lot of ways that I could never live up to. You're gonna make me cry.
I that's what I said. That's what I told you.
No, it's fine. I don't mind
No.
it.
Um,
But it's good I'm not in Qdoba.
that's what I'm saying.
But that was the thing that was always hardest for me, because I wasn't like him. I was more like my mom. And
A few of the listening wisdom points that I did use was searing, definitely evaluating my responses in this, because I kept having chances where I wanted to just like make a comment, but I held back, and he continued talking, which proved useful of almost withholding my responses. And again, with that goes mindful listening and the golden pause. And then another big one for me was leading your emotions. A lot of times in this interview, it got very emotional, and it was a battle between letting that emotion deepen the conversation in the interview and trying to not to let it derail from the point of the interview.